Tonight's class, the theme is yoga for people who don't like yoga, or maybe you think you don't like yoga, or you've never done yoga, or even if you have, this is a great way to learn about how to teach other people about yoga if you really love yoga. Because I get this all the time. I own a yoga studio here, and I get people all the time who say, well, yoga sounds fine, but it sounds kind of boring. Or it sounds all right, but I like to go to the gym and I like to lift weights. I don't feel like I can really get a workout with yoga. Or isn't it just relaxation? Or I can't touch my toes. That's my favorite one. I would love to do yoga, but I can't touch my toes. Yoga is just not for me. So there's a whole myriad of excuses that I hear all of the time. But what it comes down to is yoga is really a practice of awareness. So you can do yoga while you're at the gym. You can do yoga, and I don't mean like what we do here on the yoga mat, but you can be brushing your teeth and call it yoga. You can be eating your food and call it yoga. You can be in your car driving, call it yoga. Standing in the line at the grocery store and call it yoga. Because if your mind is on and you're aware of what you're doing and you're a little bit more present, a little bit more tapped in, than what most of us normally do, where most of us are on autopilot all day long. We just kind of go through the motions, and then all of a sudden we get to the next place and we're like, how did we get here? Or you get to the end of your day, or somebody asks you, this is my favorite, on Monday, what did you do last weekend? How was your weekend? And you're like, what did I do? I don't even remember. This is when we get into that autopilot mode and we are just kind of going through the motions. So the practice of yoga brings us into the moment. We become more aware of our body and how we feel. We become more aware of our thoughts and our emotions. So really the yoga practice, the specific poses and movements that we're doing are just tools and techniques to build awareness. But you can use the practices of yoga and the tools and the techniques of yoga anywhere in any setting, no matter where you are. So you'll see what I mean as we go tonight. We're going to do some things that don't necessarily look like traditional yoga. They might look like something you do at the gym or in a home workout. And we're going to keep that light of awareness on the whole time. So you'll kind of get to see what I mean by being able to do yoga when you're brushing your teeth or standing in line at the grocery store. We're just going to go through some different things with the awareness on. And that's our plan for tonight. So we're going to start in a little bit of an untraditional, is that the right word? Non-traditional meditation tonight. Standing with both feet about hip distance or even wider, just so you're nice and stable. Your arms can just rest down by your sides or rest on your legs, whatever's comfortable. And then you can close down your eyes if you want to. You can leave them open if you prefer, but I would recommend if you leave your eyes open, just gently look down toward the floor. Do this by turning your eyes down, not your head down. So you're standing still, nice and tall. And the reason for this is just so that we're not tempted to look around the room or look at the screen, look at what I'm doing. Don't worry, I'm just standing here totally still too. So there's nothing going on up here, nothing going on out there. I want you just to turn your focus inward. Come into your own body. Notice the fact that you're breathing in and out. Notice how you feel. See if you can find any sensation in your body. And you know what? Let's actually do a little body scan here. So we'll do this again at the end of practice, but I want to do it at the beginning so that you can check in at the start and at the finish. Notice if there's any differences. So start up at the top of your head. Just bring all of your awareness up to the very top of your head. And all you're doing is feeling. You're not changing anything. You're not doing or fixing or adjusting anything. You're just feeling up at the top of your head. And then imagine that you've got a little scanner or a little radar, and you're just going to scan down through your body. And you don't have to be moving your hands like I'm doing. I'm just demoing, but moving your awareness down through the head, through the face, the forehead, the eyebrows, eyes, ears, cheeks, nose, mouth, jaw, chin, neck, shoulders, chest and upper back, upper arms, rib cage, elbows, forearms, low belly, low back. Feel your wrists, your hands, all 10 of your fingers. Just keep moving your awareness down through the body into your hips, thighs, all the way down into your knees, shins and calves. Just keep feeling down into the ankles. And again, you're not doing anything or moving, you're just feeling your heels, the tops and the bottoms of your feet, all 10 of your toes.
Wanna be on the laptop?
And then just stay here with your awareness in the feet for a moment. So 100% of your awareness is down in the feet, hanging out right where the feet connect to the ground. Sensing your connection to the earth below and noticing how this makes you feel grounded. It makes you feel calmer when you connect to the earth below. You're not floating around up in the clouds. Notice how that brings you back down to earth. It grounds you, it centers you, it makes you feel a little bit more peaceful.
Definitely not.
Maybe not a lot, maybe just a little bit. But if you really bring all of your awareness, all of your attention into your feet,
I'll do it.
imagine plugging your feet down into the earth. Notice the difference there
Try to be this.
compared to if your thoughts start floating around up above your head. If you start to think about your to-do list or your grocery list, or what happened at work today, or what you have to do at work tomorrow before the weekend comes, or what you're doing this weekend, or what you're hungry for dinner. Notice how that feels compared to when you plug back into your feet. Just feel the connection between your feet and the ground. Okay, then the next step in our meditation, now that we're feeling a little bit more grounded, even just a little bit, the next step in our meditation is some breath work. So bring your awareness to your breath. See if you can breathe in and out through your nose. First step. If you get nothing else from tonight, see if you can learn to breathe in and out through your nose a little bit more often. This is calming for the nervous system, great for anxiety, great for stress, great for relaxation. And it's really simple. All you have to do is breathe, and you're already going to breathe all day, every day, as long as you're alive. So it's not like you have to add in a meditation in the morning or a workout during your day. It's not like you have to really squeeze in any amount of time into your schedule. You're just changing the way that you're breathing. In and out through the nose. So step 1, in and out through the nose. Step 2, make it a little longer, a little fuller. And I want you to especially focus on really slow exhales. Really slow exhales. So step 2 is you make your breaths even slower, longer, deeper. In order to have nice long exhales, you have to take big, full inhales. You have to have plenty of air to breathe out. If you're breathing really quickly in a really shallow way, it's going to be hard to have long exhales. So you'll have to take a big breath in through the nose in order to create a slow breath out through the nose. Okay, and then the last step, step number 3, is I want you to visualize inhaling all the way down into your belly. So you breathe in through the nose and then take the air down through your throat into the lungs, the chest, and then draw it all the way down into your belly. So when you breathe in, your belly should fill up and expand like a balloon. And then when you breathe out, you take as long as possible to let all of that air go. Let's try that a few more times. Inhale into the nose, throat, chest, belly. And then exhale as slowly as you can. 2 more times. Last one. All right, and then you can either keep breathing that way or come back to a more natural breath in and out through the nose. And let's start to shift around on the feet a little bit. So you're rocking forward and back, maybe side to side, maybe circling around on top of your feet. Just feeling the way that your feet rock and roll from side to side as your whole body shifts, as the position of your body moves. Notice the way that your toes grip. Notice the way that the edges of your feet catch you. And then I want you to start to come back to center, come back to the middle. With your eyes closed or gazing down, what I want you to do is I want you to try to balance out your weight perfectly. So imagine that you're standing with one scale, a weight scale, under each of your feet, one under each foot. And I want you to see if you could bring that number on each scale to the exact same amount. So say you've got so many pounds on the left foot, so many pounds on the right foot, and you're getting really precise here to the decimal, to the 10th, or even the 100th of a pound. Whatever number would be on that scale, I want you to balance it out. So there's not more weight in your left or your right foot. It's completely even, completely symmetrical. And I know you can't really know that here, but see if you can feel into that sense of balance. And then I want you to imagine that you have teeny tiny little scales. And I know they don't really come this small, or not that I know of, but I want you to imagine that you have scales underneath your heels and then underneath your toes and the balls of your feet. So under the front and the back of each foot. And I want you to balance out the weight between the heels and between the balls in the feet and the toes in the front. So you're not leaning more weight into your toes and you're not leaning more onto your heels. You're perfectly balanced between the front and the back. Okay. We're building awareness here, building body awareness. Next and last, I want you to imagine that you have little narrow scales. One is going to be under the outside edges of your feet and one will be under the inside edges of each foot. So I guess 4 little scales, one under the outer edges, one under the inner arches. So now you've got equally balanced weight between the inner and outer edges of your feet. You're not rolling onto the outer edges. You're not collapsing into the inner edges. Let it be a really precise balancing of the scales here. Take some time. It doesn't all happen at once in an instant like magic. You've got to kind of keep rocking a little bit back and forth, making micro adjustments until you feel perfectly balanced. Okay, now I want you to keep imagining those scales under your feet. Your eyes can stay closed. What I want you to do now is reach your arms out in front of you like a zombie. Notice if the weight shifted in your feet. Did it shift to the toes? Did it shift to the heels? Did it shift to the inner or outer edges? Okay, and then go the opposite way. I'm going to turn to the side. Go the opposite way. Take your hands down by your sides and then reach your arms back behind you. Notice if the weight shifted in your feet. Let's try that again. Reach the arms to the front. And then the back. Imagine the numbers on those scales changing as your weight shifts. Okay, now let's try reaching the arms all the way to one side. Let's pick either the left or the right. Reach both your arms to one side. Notice if the weight shifted. And then to the other side. And then up overhead. And then out like a T. Okay, and then you're going to twist so that your right arm goes forward and your left arm goes backward. Notice if the weight changed in your feet. Okay, switch again. And maybe your eyes are still closed so that you're really feeling into your feet. You're twisting the other way, so your left arm is forward and your right arm is backward. And then we'll go back to the first side. Right arm forward, left arm back. Notice where the weight changes and shifts in your feet. And then one more time to the other side. Left arm forward, right arm backward. And then come back to center. Bring both arms up overhead. We'll do a side bend this time. Take your left hand down. Reach your right arm up and over. So you're going to lean your whole body to the left and notice what happens in the feet. So you'll probably experience some weight shift. You should, because you're leaning to the left. You should feel more weight come into your left, or maybe you feel it come into your right foot to compensate, neither right or wrong. And then we'll go to the other side, right hand down, left hand up and overhead. So you get some side stretch here, but I want you to keep your awareness down in the feet. Notice if you're shifting into the right foot because you're leaning to the right, or if you're shifting into the left foot to compensate so that you don't fall over to the right. What happens in your body? Let's try that again. Left arm down, right arm up and over. Notice what happens with the weight in your feet. What does your body naturally do? And then switch, go to the second side, right arm down, left arm up and over. Good. And then come back to center. We'll shake it out a little bit. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them up. So things that you should have noticed is your body awareness lighting up. All of a sudden, you've never paid such close attention to your feet. This is a great exercise. It's not a yoga pose. It's not something we normally do in yoga, but it is very much a yoga-like activity or yoga-like exercise to build that awareness. Okay, so let's go ahead and stand. Let's keep standing in the center of the mat. Next exercise will be a balance exercise. You're going to shift your weight into your right foot. Pick your left foot up. It doesn't have to come high, but it can. So you're standing all of your weight now into your right foot and your left foot is up in the air. Some amount, doesn't matter how high. Arms go wherever they need to go. Notice what's going on in the right foot. Are you shifting to the inner or outer edge, front or back of the foot? What's going on there in the right foot? Now what I want you to do with the left foot is I want you to imagine, first of all, that your right foot is in this very center of a clock. A traditional clock, an analog clock, not a digital one, but you've got the 12 out in front, the 3 off to the right side, 6 back behind you, and 9 to the left side, and then all the numbers in between. What you're going to do with your left foot is we're going to try to touch all of the numbers. So I want you to touch the 12 o'clock with your left toes, and then come back to center. And then touch 1 o'clock, and then come back to center. And keep going to the 2 o'clock, and then back to center. And for the 3 o'clock, you get to decide if you want to take the foot in front or behind your right leg. Good, and then keep going to 4 o'clock. You'll probably want to go behind the right leg. Back to center. 5 o'clock. Back to center. 6 o'clock. And now I want you to keep going around the clock. As you go, notice what's happening in your right foot. Where does the weight shift? To the inner or outer edge? Heel or toes? What are your tendencies? What are your habits? And what happens even further up from the foot into the ankle, into the knee? Does the knee collapse inside, outside? Okay, last one up to the 12 o'clock. And then come back to center. Shake out the legs a little bit, and we'll repeat that on the other side. You're going to notice that one side probably feels a little different, a little stronger, a little wobblier than the other. So now your weight comes into your left foot and your right foot picks up. Okay, we're going to start with that clock again, up at 12 o'clock. So take your right toes and tap 12 o'clock. And then 1 o'clock. Good. Keep going. 2 and 3. Okay, keep going around the clock at your own pace. There's no rush here. If you're feeling really wobbly, Feel free to come close to a wall or a chair and hold on to something for balance. There's no shame in getting a little bit of assistance with your balance, because you can still keep the awareness turned on, even if you're getting a little bit of help. So even if you're holding onto the wall, even if you're holding onto a chair, you'll still experience a weight shift in that left foot. Good, last one to 12 o'clock, and then we'll shake it out. We're gonna do that one more time on each side. So let's go ahead and go back to the right side. Stand on your right foot, pick your left foot up. Okay, now this time, second time through, I want you to imagine that that clock you have is a little bit bigger, So your clock is gonna go out maybe 2 inches, maybe 6 inches forward, back, side to side. So you're gonna have to reach your toes, your left toes, even further in every direction. Go to 12 o'clock and then 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock when you're ready. Take your time, go nice and slow. Make that clock as big as you can. You'll have to probably squat a little bit more into the standing leg. Notice which numbers or which directions are the easiest for you and which are the hardest. Good. Notice where you get the most wobbly, where you lose control, and where you feel really stable and really graceful, if anywhere. Good. I lost track of my numbers, but I'll go ahead and say this is 12. You finish up if needed. Shake it out. And then we'll go to the other side. The microphone's still on. Okay, make sure you can still hear me. All right, so left foot stands, right foot picks up. Again, remember your clock is even bigger. Every direction is spread out a few inches wider, longer, further. Take your right toes and go for 12 o'clock when you're ready. 1 and 2 and 3. Go at your own pace all the way around the clock. Stay with your breath. Notice what's going on with your inhales and your exhales. Are you still breathing at all? If not, can you bring your breath back? Can you still breathe in and out through your nose? Are you still breathing in and out through your nose? What happens, or when do you lose your breath? When do you lose control of your inhales and exhales? Is it when you're doing something specific with your body? Or is it when your mind just simply forgets to breathe? Maybe a little bit of both. All right. When you're ready, or when you've made it through the whole clock, shake it out. And then we're gonna practice a forward fold. So for those of you who say, I can't touch my toes, this is gonna be really great for you. What I want you to do is forward fold first. We're gonna do it the way that I don't like to do it first, and then we'll do it the way that is usually feels better in the body. So first is the way that oftentimes yoga teachers will teach, bad yoga teachers, or uninformed yoga teachers. We'll do it with straight legs. Straight legs, don't let your knees bend. So again, this is not the good way to do it, but it's the way you'll often hear it taught. Straight legs, go ahead and just fold forward, let your head drop, let your spine round, and see how far you go. Okay? It's not about how far you go, but I want you just to make an observation here. Legs are straight, spine is rounded, head is heavy, and your arms are heavy. And just see where your arms hit. They might hit the floor, they might hit your shins, they might hit your knees. There's no good or bad, no right or wrong. I just want you to make an observation about where you end up when we do it this way. Okay, and then when you come up to stand, I want you just to notice how it feels in the legs, in the back, in the neck, low back. If you came up and you didn't notice how that felt, try it again. Fold forward the same way. Let your spine be rounded. And then even slower, come up to stand. Pay attention to your low back, your hips. Okay, so making observations. I'm not going to tell you what you should or should have felt, but just making observations, turning on the awareness. Now, next time I want you to do it with bent knees. Bend your knees, sit back in your hips, almost like you're doing a deadlift. If you're someone who goes to the gym and does deadlifts with weights, kind of similar movement. Bend your knees, sit back in your hips, and I want you to drive forward with your chest. So your spine stays really nice and long the whole time. Now, you might get to this place where the hands come to the knees or the shins, and that's where you stop. You might feel some stretch in the backs of the legs already. If your legs are fairly open, if the hamstrings are fairly flexible, you can keep going. You can even bring your hands down to the ground. I want you all to go ahead and try to bring the hands to the ground, and I want you to bend your knees as much as you need to get there. Some of you will be way down here. Some of you will be way up here. Palms all the way down on the mat. Not fingertips, but palms, fingers spread wide. Now, your knees are really bent. I want you to stand up as strong as you can with the legs, like you are gonna shoot up to stand or even jump. Squeeze the glutes. Notice how that feels. Let's do it a little slower. Bend your knees, push your hips back, drive forward with your chest. Bring your hands to your mat, right underneath your shoulders. Push your chest toward the space between your hands. Okay, now I want you to squeeze your glutes on the way up. Stand up really strong with the legs, push your hips forward. Notice how that felt. Okay, so making observations about the difference there. Now, if you're a little bit confused, I want you to pay attention here to what it looks like in my body when I do this. Straight legs, round spine, head heavy. Notice the position or the posture of my spine. Compare that to when I bend my knees and I plant my hands and I push my chest toward the ground. Good. My posture here is a whole lot longer and more neutral than when I straighten my legs. When I straighten my legs, I've got this rounded spine that kind of looks like I'm texting or looks like I'm at the keyboard. And most of us sit like that all day long. And that's what causes us our aches and our pains. And that's why we come to yoga, to stretch and to feel better. So what good does it do if you come to yoga and you do more of that rounded spine, right? More of that text neck, more of that keyboard posture. So really important. Bend the knees, sit back, plant the hands. Let's go ahead and incorporate that into some other movements. Stand at the top of your mat, feet about hip distance width apart. Just this standing pose, we call it mountain pose. You can stand in the grocery line in this mountain pose with your palms shining forward, your spine nice and tall, your legs are really active, all the muscles are fired up, standing really tall through the crown of your head. You can stand in the grocery line and say, I'm doing yoga, mountain pose. Let's breathe in and reach the arms up overhead. As you breathe out, I want you to forward fold the way that I taught you, where you bend your knees, sit back, and plant your hands right under your shoulders. From here, you're going to step your feet back into a plank. Good. From here, you're going to bend your elbows and lower all the way down to the ground. Next, we're going to do baby cobra. This is a little back bend move. You're going to lift your head, lift your chest, lift your hands, and then squeeze your heels together back behind you. You should feel the whole back side of the body turn on. As you exhale, you're going to tuck your toes and do a push-up all the way back to plank. And then what we're going to call downward facing dog. Many of you will know this pose. If you've never done yoga, this looks like an upside down V, where your hips are up in the sky, your feet and your hands are on the ground. Shake your head no, shake your head yes. Push your hands really hard into the mat. This is a tough pose. You should feel really strong in the upper body. And just like forward fold, your knees should stay bent. What happens when you straighten your legs? You can even try it. Straighten out the legs. Heels don't have to be on the ground, but straighten out the legs and notice what happened in your spine. Then, just like forward fold, if you bend the knees and then you push your chest toward the floor, notice what happens with your posture. Good. Take a moment here just to make observations. Keep your awareness turned on. And then you're going to look between your hands, do a little squat back with your legs, And then step your feet up into that same forward fold with bent knees, hands are still on the ground. From here, stand up strong, reach up high, and then shake it all out and come back to mountain pose. All right, that whole sequence is called a sun salutation. We're doing it in the evening, but it's really great to do in the morning. So keep that in mind if you're someone who likes to practice yoga in the morning. Standing in mountain pose, let's try it again. Big breath in, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back, plant your hands right under your shoulders. From here, step your feet back into a plank, and then bend your elbows lower onto the ground. All right, baby cobra, there's our back bend. Lift your chest, lift your hands, squeeze your heels. And then we're gonna tuck the toes and do a push-up back to downward facing dog. Let's try it again. Look between your hands, squat back with your legs, walk, step, or hop to a forward fold. Stand up really strong, reach the arms up high, and then shake it all out. We'll do it one more time. Big breath in, arms go up. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank, and then lower all the way down to the ground. Baby cobra, here's our back bend. Lift your chest, lift your hands, squeeze the heels. And then when you're ready, we're gonna tuck the toes, big strong push up, all the way back to downward dog. All right, look between your hands, squat back with your legs, walk, step, or hop to a forward fold, and then we'll stand all the way up, nice and strong, and shake it out. All right, nice job. So that right there is one of the most classical yoga sequences, yoga movement sequences. So already you're doing yoga. Let's go on from here. So yoga is about awareness. Remember, we're gonna do some things that, again, are a little bit less like yoga. That was the most traditional thing we'll do. We're gonna start back at the front of the mat. We're gonna do calf raises. We're gonna move with the breath. Here's where the yoga comes in. So you're gonna inhale as you lift up onto the toes, heels come up, and then exhale as you drop the heels back down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, through the nose, inhale, exhale, good, few more, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, let's do last two, exhale, and one, exhale. All right, now we're gonna move with the breath again. We're gonna inhale into a squat. You're gonna reach your arms forward, bend your knees, and sit down low. Now, some of you will go here, and that'll be perfect. Some of you will wanna go down a little lower. That part is up to you. You can even go way down low. And then you're gonna exhale and stand up. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale, squat down. Exhale, stand up. Every time you stand, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, squat down. Exhale, stand up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, stand up. Inhale. Exhale, through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 4 more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Great job. Now let's go to the bottom of the squat, as low as you can go. And then 10 times, we're going to inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Only halfway up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last 4. Exhale. 3. Exhale. Last 2. Exhale. And 1. Exhale. Very good. Plant your hands. Step back to downward facing dog. That's that upside down V shape where your hips are up in the air, your head is dropped low, hands are pushing really hard into the mat. Knees stay bent. All right, now 10 times you're gonna inhale to a plank pose. Roll your body forward until your hand or your shoulders come right on top of your hands. And then exhale back to downward dog. Just like that again, inhale to plank. Exhale to downward dog. All right, I'm gonna have you go with your own breath. Inhale forward and exhale back. 7 more times. Count for yourself. See if you can get in a rhythm with your breath here. Nice and slow. Every time that you come forward, your shoulders should land right on top of your hands. Your fingers are spreading out wide. Your hands are pushing the floor away as hard as possible. When you come forward and hit that plank pose, I want you to squeeze your glutes as hard as you can. And then again, just like that keyboard position, keyboard posture, or text neck, I want you to make sure that you're not dropping your head like you're texting in plank. Your spine isn't rounded in downward dog. You have a nice long spine. Last one. I might be a little off on the count. And then we're gonna set the knees down. You're gonna come up to a seat. You can either sit back onto your heels or you can kneel upright if that kind of hurts the ankles or the feet. We'll just shake the arms out a little bit. Good. You can roll the shoulders if that feels good. All right. Let's come back to downward facing dog. Plant your hands. And then we're gonna come forward to plank again. We're gonna keep working the planks. So keeping your body awareness turned on. What are your feet doing? What are your hands doing? What is your spine doing? What are your hips doing? So high plank, we're on the hands. Low plank, or I'm gonna call it forearm plank, you're gonna drop one elbow and then the other. Let's come back up to high plank, one hand and then the other. And then switch sides, other elbow drops first, down to forearm plank, and then back up to one hand and the other for high plank. Let's go again, forearm plank, and then high plank. One more time, forearm plank, and then high plank. Good, very nice. Set the knees down, come back to a seat or kneel. We'll shake the arms out. Maybe roll the shoulders. Notice what muscles feel warm, what muscles feel activated, which muscles feel tired and fatigued already. Take a big deep breath, and then we'll come back to downward dog again. All right. From downward dog, let's come again forward to plank. We're gonna work a little bit of side plank. So let's go ahead and spin the heels, drop the heels over to the left. So now you're on the inside and outside edges of the feet. Your right hand is gonna go up to the sky. And then we'll switch sides. Right hand down, heels spin to the right. Left hand goes to the sky. Good, switching back and forth. Left hand down, heels to the left, right hand up. Keep going at your own pace. Right hand down, heels to the right, left hand up. Let's keep switching a few more times back and forth. What's happening with your breath as you switch? Are you still breathing at all? Are you still breathing in and out through your nose? Is the breath as slow, as deep, as full as it was at the very beginning? Or has it gotten shallower, faster? Good. Let's do a few more here. Notice what's happening with your hips. Are you dropping your hips? Are you collapsing anywhere in the body? In other words, where do you feel energy leaking? If you had a leak of energy somewhere in your body, just like the plumbing, if there was a leak of energy, a leak of water somewhere coming out of you, where would it be coming from? Would it be coming from the hips? Would it be coming from the hands, the wrists, the shoulders? Beautiful. Let's come back to center, set the knees down and shake it out. Whew, nice job. Okay. You can do this. Who said yoga was easy, right? All right, let's go ahead and one last time, come back to downward dog and we'll work one more set of planks. Downward dog, hips go up, head goes down. And then when you're ready, come forward to a plank. All right, so we're gonna combine the forearm plank and the side plank. Let's drop the heels to the left, reach the right hand up. Now from here, you're gonna bring the right elbow down to the ground for forearm plank, heels to the right, left hand up. So you've got a forearm side plank. Now left elbow down, heels to the left, right arm up. Now right hand to the mat, right palm to the mat, heels to the right, left hand up. You've got a full side plank. Left hand down, and then we're gonna switch. So we're back to the starting point. We're gonna do that in reverse. Heels to the right, left hand up. Now left elbow down, heels to the left, right hand up, forearm side plank. Right elbow down, heels to the right, left hand up. Left hand down, heels to the left, right hand up. Nice job. Back to center, downward dog. And then set your knees down. And one more time, shake it out. All right. Hope we're doing good. Can't see you guys, I can only see me. So you can hate me, that's okay. I know this is a lot of hard work, but hopefully you're feeling really aware of your body and your breath at this point. We're gonna slow it down from here. So we've done a couple of different things. We've done some push-ups, we've done some lunges, we've done some squats. We're gonna stretch it out now. So go ahead and come up to stand. You should be at the back of your mat at this point. So if you're not, go ahead and walk backwards all the way to the foot end of your mat. You're gonna take your left foot, step it forward just a couple of inches so the heel lands on the ground. So this should not be a big step forward, not a big one. Just a tiny little step forward with the left heel. Left toes pull up toward your face. Now with your hands, you're gonna scoop down toward the floor, maybe graze the floor with your fingertips, and then stand back up. And then you're gonna take a step forward onto your left foot, do the same with your right foot. Heel lands, you're gonna scoop down and stand back up. Do it again, step forward, left heel, scoop your hands down to the floor and back up, and then shift. Left foot plants, right heel steps forward, scoop down to the ground and back up. And then do a 180 turn. We'll do it again. You can do left foot first again, land the heel, scoop the hands and stand back up. Right heel forward, scoop down to the ground, back up, squeeze the glutes. Step forward, left heel, scoop the hands down, back to stand. Last one, right heel, scoop down and stand back up. Okay, 180 turn. Let's take the left foot and step halfway forward on the mat. Bend into the back knee, bring the back knee down to the ground if you can. If that's too hard, the surface of the floor is too hard, lift the knee back up. We're gonna fold the mat over a little bit. So you've got some cushion for the knee to land and come back into that same lunge. Left foot forward, right foot back. Let's reach the hands up. Good, and then you're gonna take your left hand down, right hand over. So from the front, it looks like this. You've got a side stretch up and away from the bottom leg. Let's do that again. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, left hand down, right hand up and over. One more time. Inhale to the top, nice and tall. Exhale, left hand down, right hand up and over. Good, come back to center and then all the way up to stand. So you're gonna tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then take a step backwards so both feet meet. We'll do the same thing. Right foot forward this time, set the back knee down. Okay, if you need a little extra cushion, remember that you can double your mat over. You could also grab a blanket or a pillow, that would work too. This is kind of a 90-90 lunge. You'll notice You're not in this really big, long lunge. You're in a rather short, boxy lunge. Let's take both arms up high. Inhale. And then you'll exhale the right hand down, left hand over. So you're stretching up and away from the bottom leg. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, right hand down again, left hand up and over. Squeeze the glutes behind you. One more time. Inhale to the top, get tall. Exhale, right hand down, left hand up and over. Inhale back to center. And then you're going to exhale, lift the back knee, step to the back of the mat. Okay. If your mat is doubled over, you can unfold it. You're going to step the left foot forward again. A little bit of a bigger step than our first stretch here. You're going to step about halfway forward on the mat. Both feet should stay planted. If anything, the back heel may or may not come up a little bit. But if you can get to a place where you've got both feet completely planted on the ground, that would be great. Now you're going to take your hands to your hips, square your hips toward the front side of the mat so they're not opening up to the side. You're facing the front of the mat. And then you're going to lean forward with your chest. Just like our forward fold with bent knees, you drove your chest forward. You're going to do the same here. So drive your chest forward. Now you should already start to feel the stretch in the back of the front leg, back of the left leg. You can stay right here if you want. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can. Try not to let the spine round. Keep the spine nice and long. Keep the chest going forward. If you want to bring your hands to your front shin, or if you've got the space for it, the flexibility for it, you could go all the way to the floor. Sometimes it's a little easier if you just step the back foot forward a little bit. Okay, so there's no right or wrong way. I want you to find a version that works for you. So if hands on the hips is too much effort, bring the hands down. Maybe you grab a hold of the wall next to you, or a chair, or a coffee table, or something that you can hold onto if the floor is too far away to reach. And then whenever you find just the right place for your own body to be, so where you feel some stretch, but it's not too much, you can still breathe, then I want you to inhale and exhale through your nose again. Bring your awareness of the breath back. See if you can visualize breathing in through the nose all the way down into the belly. And then when you exhale, make it as long as possible and feel yourself relaxing. Feel the stretch getting easier. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, gently stand all the way back up. You're going to step the right foot all the way to the front of the mat. So we'll do the same stretch with the right leg forward. Hands on your hips to start. Again, nice long spine. Drive forward with your chest. Try to not let the spine round until maybe the very last moment if it feels good for you. Maybe the very last moment if it feels good for you. But if it doesn't feel good, come back with your hands to your hips. Drive the chest forward. Keep the spine long. So because this is all about body awareness, everybody's going to feel a little bit different here. When I teach this class, or when I teach this in person, you look around the room and you see some people up here, way up high, and they already feel the stretch on the back of their leg. Some people are way down here. I have like dancers and gymnasts come and they fold and they're freakish in their flexibility and it's beautiful. But some people are somewhere in the middle, hands on their shins, hands on the thigh, hands on chairs or props. We call them in yoga. We have little blocks and things to hold on to elevate the floor. You might have a coffee table at home, cans of beans, boxes of pasta, whatever works for you if you need a little bit of a lift there. But ultimately, I want you to pay attention to the body and how you feel. Is there any pinching anywhere? Is there anywhere that the stretch doesn't feel good? Does it feel like it's too much pressure on your knee? If so, bend the knee. Does it feel like there's no stretch in the back of the leg? It's all in your low back. If so, drive the chest forward again. Get longer in your spine. What can you do to adjust and make this feel really good for your body? So I'm here to sort of give you tips and suggestions, but ultimately, you're here to listen to your own body and get to know your own body. Let's stand back up when you're ready. Shake the legs out, and we're going to take the legs wide for our last stretch of the day. So take the legs all the way out wide as you feel comfortable going here. And then again, body awareness. You're going to decide if it's best for you and feels best to turn the toes out, turn the toes forward, turn the toes even slightly in. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold forward over the legs. Just like the stretches before, you're going to push the hips back and push the chest forward. So your spine stays really nice and long the whole time. You're not rounding to get to the ground. Don't worry about hitting the floor. Think more about a long spine, good posture. Push the hips back, chest forward, crown of the head forward. Maybe you come up and you try it with the feet at a different angle, toes pointing in, see how that feels. Toes pointing out, see how that feels. For a lot of people, toes pointing in actually feels best. It kind of looks funny, it looks pigeon-toed, but for a lot of people, that's what feels best here. If you decide that you're tired of the feet and the muscles of the legs holding you up and you want to bring your hands to the ground, go for it. Or a chair or a coffee table, again, go for it. Otherwise, stay where you feel good. Now you should feel a big stretch on the backs of the legs, maybe some inner thigh, maybe the calves. There's no right or wrong, but I want you just to notice where you feel the stretch. If it feels like it's in the right place, awesome, stay there. If it feels like it's not quite in the right place, adjust, wiggle around, bend your knees a little bit side to side. Rock your hips side to side, maybe kind of wag your tail from side to side. See if you can adjust and make it feel better. This is less about the accomplishments that you make with your body and more about the awareness that you build. If you want to move a little bit here, you could take your hands to the left foot and then the right foot. Sometimes that feels good, going side to side. Sometimes it can feel really good to take one hand and plant it right on the floor underneath your face and reach the other hand up. So you get a big spinal twist. And then maybe you switch sides, other hand down, opposite hand up. If that feels good, go back and forth a couple of times. So I'll let you keep going here as long as it feels good. And then whenever you're ready, heel toe your feet all the way together and take a seat. We're going to lay all the way down onto the ground here. So if you're in a room where the lights are really bright and you want to turn them down or dim the lights or quiet down the music or anything like that, feel free. And then we are going to lay all the way down onto the mat. Bring your knees to your chest, give yourself a hug. Take a moment just to hold yourself here. Close your eyes and then notice how you feel. So we've done a lot of goofy things today. This has been a really sort of odd looking yoga practice, but hopefully you're feeling a little bit of increased body awareness, breath awareness, maybe even thought awareness. And that's the thing about the yoga practice is the awareness builds and you become more aware of your thoughts, which can be really uncomfortable. Same with the body. You become more aware of your body and that can be awkward. It can be uncomfortable because all of a sudden you feel all these sensations, all these stretches, all these tender spots and all these places of soreness in the body. And it doesn't always result in feeling better. Sometimes you feel worse at first. So sometimes people get discouraged when they come to their first yoga class because, oh my gosh, I never knew that I felt so bad. I feel so tight in my body and so sore and so stiff. Or maybe I kind of knew, but I didn't fully realize until I tried to stretch. Okay, let's go ahead and open the arms up to a T here. Drop your knees off to the left side. Roll the knees all the way over to the left side. So you get a spinal twist. Okay. You can close down your eyes here if you want to and start to relax. Keep your awareness in the body. Keep your awareness moving through the body with the breath, staying nice and present, nice and aware. So if you're feeling discouraged, as I talked about just a moment ago, if you're feeling that same discouragement from today's practice, that same sense of, oh my gosh, I never knew that I felt so stiff in my body, so sore, so tight. Or I never knew that all these thoughts were running through my head. You know, maybe all of a sudden you're really aware of how much you think about your to-do list or how much you think about fill in the blank. Maybe that's uncomfortable. If you're feeling that discouragement, I want you to take a deep breath here in through the nose. And then a slow breath out. Feel every cell in your body relax. And know that you're normal. Know that that's okay. Know that that is a very normal experience to have. Let's switch sides, knees to the right. Okay, so almost everybody, when they come to their first yoga class, or even their 10th or 100th yoga class, it's really uncomfortable, and that's kind of the point. Okay, so stay with me here. That's kind of the point, is to get a little bit uncomfortable in the yoga practice. Because when we get uncomfortable, or I should say, when we notice ourselves getting uncomfortable, that's when we can make changes and we can do something about it. But you have to be aware first. If you're not even aware, how can you make changes in order to feel better? How can you do anything to improve your circumstances if you don't even know how you feel? If you're not even aware, you're not even present, you're on autopilot, going through the motions day to day, walking through the routine without any awareness, how can you improve? How can you do better if you don't even know? You have to know better to do better. Let's come back to center. Let's find our last and final pose, Shavasana. The name is a fancy Sanskrit name for corpse pose. We're gonna lay down on our backs, legs out long, arms out long, palms facing up. If this is uncomfortable, you can bend your knees, place your feet on the mat, let your knees knock into each other in the center. Sometimes that feels better. Feel free to wiggle around, get as comfortable as you can, and then settle into stillness. Close down your eyes. Let's take one last big deep breath in through the nose. And then really, really, really slow breath out. Once again, feel every cell in your body relax. So your final pose, Shavasana, is the one that is all about letting go, all about surrendering, all about relaxing. So at the end of the yoga practice, when you've all of a sudden become aware of all this discomfort that you feel in your body, in your mind, there's all this discomfort everywhere. Then at the end, you come into this last pose, Shavasana, and you just sort of melt into it. You surrender into all that discomfort. You just let go. Because at this point, there's nothing more you can do. You've moved, you've stretched, you've tried a lot of tools and techniques to build the awareness and maybe even make yourself feel a little better. But now what you feel is just here. It just is. There's no need to change it. There's no need to fix it. So at the end of your practice, the culmination of all of it is just to surrender into everything that you feel. all of the good, all of the bad, and everything in between. Just let it be. Just let yourself rest in it. There's nothing more to do, nothing more to accomplish or achieve. We call this a yoga practice because it's really never finished. We keep coming back again and again and again to build more and more awareness, to continue feeling better. But it's a practice because we're never really through. We're never really finished. We've never really mastered it. And just when you think you have, life throws something else at you, another injury in the body or another soreness to deal with, or maybe something bigger than something in your body, maybe something emotional, something in your life that's uncomfortable. And then you take these tools that we're practicing here, you take them into your life and you learn how to navigate emotional discomfort with big things like death, breakups, divorce, job losses, financial struggles. The past year for all of us, COVID, all of this has been very uncomfortable. And yoga gives you the tools to navigate it. So congratulations, you have finished your first yoga practice. Maybe your 100th or 1000th yoga practice, but one way or another, you have finished your practice for this evening. You did a great job. Whether you did every pose or only one or two of them, you did a fantastic job. You built some awareness, you tried, maybe something new. Hopefully you built some body awareness. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better, a little bit more relaxed. If you're feeling discouraged, I would recommend highly coming back to it. At least one more time, come back to it, try it again, see if it's any better the second time around. Again, I want you to stay in Shavasana, this final pose, for as long as you'd like to relax, as long as your evening or your day allows for. If you have another minute or 10, take them. How often do you get to just lay down and do nothing? Relax. Thank you so much for giving something new a try, for having a little bit of fun with it, I hope, and for spending time with me this evening. The light and the love in me honors the light and the love within you. And I hope to see you again next week. Thanks so much. Namaste.